So the delivery's turned up now. It's, we have our polystyrene, which is great. Looking at this one though, with the amount of white and black flecking in it, I could probably get away with not even painting this and put it straight out, and bang, we've got a snow-covered mountain. Fantastic. But of course, we're not going to do that. We're going to do things the hard way, put our hair out, and see what we can create. We've got some more out there. Left that there ready to start the cut. Thankfully I've made my template ready, so we can just overlay that. Also got my hot wire foam tool. First time using one of these, so we're going to give that a whirl, and we've got to get cracking now. Also, for good measure, whilst I'm trying to do the display, I'm also trying to make some builds as well to go into the town. And obviously this is upside down, but these are the gas pumps, my petrol station, and so I'm going to get some prints going as well whilst we're trying to do everything else. But that's there on the thing after putting it in last night, and we'll get some more going in a moment. So this is the printer I'm using to print off the petrol station forecourt roof. Already used to do the base, and it's done the canopy as well that the pump sits under. So we're going to get this one going as well whilst we try and make the most of our time. That bed will start to heat up so that the plastic sticks to it really well, and it comes around and makes the motion to do our outline, etc. So this is the area that the display is going to be going in. I've got a little board that I'm going to extend that down up to the edge of the wall there, and a lot of this stuff's going to be going under the tables. I've got to drag that bit out. Fair bit to clear off before we start doing this, and got some of my villages there ready to go that I've made templates for and stuff. This here was the template that I made in full scale with all the buildings that are down on the floor, so I know without having to actually get the buildings out like this and position around, potentially damage any, I can actually just refer to the large size plan that I've made and overlay it onto the base of my display as well. So yeah, so now got a bit of clearing to do, ready to put the boards down, and I think because I'm going to use this hot wire foam straight out of the box, heard that it can be a bit on the smelly side with the fumes and stuff, so we're going to get that front door open as well, let all the nasty fumes and smell out whilst we do the template. Okay, so this is the electric foam cutting toolkit from Go Change. Got this off Amazon for, I think it's about £13, I think, might be slightly more. Let's see what we've got in the box. We've got the instructions, always helpful. And so obviously get the power adapter. Little marker pen, helpful making lines. So this is going to be our hand hold bit for the wand. And we've got two different sizes in here. I think that's the 4-inch one, 100mm, and a 2-inch, 50mm. That's what we're going to use to do the 25mm polystyrene that I've got laid out at the moment. Inside we've got some spare wire, which is helpful, so I understand these things do break, and a little stand similar to you get on a soldering iron just to rest our tool, because it's going to be very, very hot. So let's give it a go. I must admit, this is a lot better than I thought it was going to be. It's literally like a hot knife through butter. I was going to use a saw to cut this point, but to be fair, there's really no need. There's a slight resistance, It does look like it's a sturdy enough one to not trouble the cut. I don't think it's going to bend it out of shape or anything. It does seem it's built well enough to be able to do this job, which is good. I really should be probably wearing a mask for this. I do get what people are saying about the smell. It's not the most pleasant. There we go. That is that. So I've trimmed up my 8x4 sheet of polystyrene now, and I've laid that in place where that's going to be. You can see obviously where this extension is. We're going to use the part that we cut out here to join onto there. The board underneath, I've made these holes from last year to be able to run the cables through. So I will mark the undersides on here just so we can channel it out. And as you can see, I mean, I'm putting it on top of MDF and also leaving enough room for all the plugs and the cables to be able to channel underneath the display. So I'm not going to cramp up my display with all different visible leads and what have you. We're going to put the template that I made on top now, so we can see how that covers. So this is the template that I've put on a sheet of Propex. You might know it's Corex or some other form of 2mm plastic sheeting. Pretty inexpensive, and obviously this is a bit creasy, this way is the laying flat. And I just cut out the base of the buildings when I was measuring up, just so I could see what could fit where. So I have a real life scale size idea of what I wanted to do. So I've started to make a mark on there already from a little bit away from the board, and I'm going to keep that same little distance because of being polystyrene. We can shape that to make it look more like a cliff edge, and it's a lot easier to take a bit more off than it is to add it on. So we're going to use the template as a guide initially to make those cuts. So you can see we are slightly over the board now, but it just gives us more room to be able to contour that back in rather than being close and sort of cutting away into our area of display, because when you've got a lot of buildings and stuff, every inch really matters, doesn't it? So we do need to allow ourselves a bit of breathing room, which is great. Another plus point, obviously, using one of these hot wire foam cutters, if you was to use a normal handsaw, yep, you could definitely make a nice cut. And the problem is you would get a lot of this flaking off. It wouldn't stay in this thing, but where it melts, it does keep it all together, so there's a lot less mess than if you're trying to use a traditional handsaw to cut polystyrene. So impressed so far, very good. So using the 4-inch polystyrene now, I'm going to start making the elevations now at the back here. So these are all going to be contoured out. So I'm going to do basic block shapes for now, and then it's going to allow me to shape them, and we'll have that stretch all along the back there. We want to see the things at the back there, so it needs to be raised, and we're going to go for like a bit of a mountain type face. Going to have our Department 56 Grinch there. He wants to look down. Obviously the Lemax North Pole Observatory needs to be high up, or what's it going to see? You know, you've got to think about this when you're doing your planning. and it's going to be very centre themed, this area. And then when we get more to the downtown district, that side, and that more normal traditional sort of build, so we'll have a bit of a blend. But yeah, so now we're going to make these marks here and get this bit cut out. The petrol forecourt shop is almost done now. So we've got 93% completion, and the roof is well underway downstairs. So it's all taking shape very nicely. Once this is done, we'll let it drain for a bit before we wash it in the wash station and then cure it along with our petrol pumps that are there. You can see now that the FDM printer is putting the finishing touches pretty much onto the roof, and that should be good to go very soon. Say very soon, probably about another couple of hours. It's a slow process on this machine compared to the resin printer, but it's a bit cheaper and it'll do the desired effect. So we've got some of our cutouts there already for our mounting range. We're not doing it in order as such at the moment, and you'll see there's like some bits where they don't sort of quite meet, but when we sculpt that, they'll all come out in the wash. As Miriam says, everything is fixable, and that will soon take shape. On the next cutout, we're going to do a layer lower down, and that's to come out for this part. So it's going to be another 4 inches deep. I don't want to make it look like it's on a shelf where you can see everything perfectly. You know, nothing's built that way. You know, it doesn't look natural. So some of the reindeer grooming barn will be hidden by the elf workshop. But that's kind of what you want, really. You don't really want it to look too uniform. So the next one, come out along there, and so we're going to have a slope coming down into our cinema at this point. And there's still some bits that need to go up. Obviously, that's just there to keep out of the way. But so we need a nice tall mountain for the Grinch to sit on. So that's all come along nicely, and after about 3 hours so far, I think it's about time for lunch. So we've got some more of the base in place now for our mounting. Gonna use a bit of the offcuts there to extend in the corner where the Grinch is going to be, and the observatory, and also the Claus cottage over there. Maybe do one for the Santa Chalet as well. I'm not sure yet. Need to try and get that up and down motion. So that's all the bases put in place at the moment. I haven't glued them down yet. They're gonna need a good few hours to dry, so I'm gonna do that bit overnight. Just gonna use normal PVA for that, and pour it on, brush it into all the surfaces, and then stick them down. And then they're gonna all have to be weighted down by something heavy. And then so anything you got, like your PVA, and that if you've got any left over, that'll do to help seal it. Generally, I think it takes about sort of 3 to 4 hours. So best off doing it at night, so you can just carry on with something else. And then tomorrow, once it's all fully cured, we'll be able to actually start shaping the mountain then, rather than it being this big blocky form. And to start doing some other bits to it then. So let's get on with the PVA. So PVA has been applied. Got various different things weighted it down now overnight. I think it's going to be quite a long cure time because of how thick I applied the PVA, but still, it's got all night to do its thing, and then we can start carving tomorrow. So day 2, and our glue is dried overnight. As you can see, we used just about anything with a bit of weight to make sure that they were secured, allow us to dry. And that's nice and solid on there. And that's be the same. Yeah, that's all good. Now, rather than look like a genius and get this right all the time, I realised last time when I was putting this into place that I've actually done this so tight, and my door frame is there, that I can't actually take this out to be able to sculpt it. So I'm going to have to try and trim it, not burn the wall, and I hope the missus don't kill me. So a tip would be make sure it fits before you glue it together, and that you can remove it as well to sculpt it afterwards. And considering today is paint day and that's stuck in place, the weather we've got in Britain, as always, is bloody horrible. So we're stuck indoors and we are going to have to do it inside. So we've got some polythene. We're going to put that up on the walls there, and just in case there's any splashes, and do what we can. But yeah, definitely make sure you can actually remove your base before you glue it together. And right, let's get working. So we had a bit of success. I managed to get it out. It's trimming away a little bit. But I just noticed that I've actually got this nice big puddle there where I was a bit happy, I think, with the glue, and it's not quite cured yet. So I'm going to have to try and mop some of that up, and I've got a hot air gun. I'm very tempted to try and dry this out pretty quick, so I want to get on and paint this now. So I'm going to give that a go, try and do it at a distance and not melt the polystyrene, but try and rapidize this glue setting. So let's see. So this is my hot air gun. It's not really got any controllable nozzles or anything like that, essentially just on off. We're going to do it from a distance and try and work it in. I'm thinking worst case scenario, if it does start to melt a bit, when it's going to save me a little less sculpting, because it's going to do it for me. Right, what could go wrong? Let's give it a try. So after about a minute's worth of use, we can see that that glue has dried up now, and at the very worst, and that bits like here has got a skin on it, so it's it will cure. So although I just punched my finger right through that skin, I'll put that back on now. It's going to be a lot quicker now than what it was before. Invariably, it has like eroded some of the corners through the heat, but hopefully that'll actually look a bit more natural when I come to sculpt it as well, because there'll be shapes in there that I can't make myself. At least that's the hope. But still, at least we can crack on. So using the templates I made for the full scale plan, I've started to put the buildings on so I know where I'm going to carve. I've already done the top ones, so put that on there so I can shape these nicely, just for the outlines, so I can plan walkways and the shape of the mountain. And I've got these there just to show you really. Some of it just because I want it recessed, because I want more of a gap around here, and that so there's like a walkway type of thing. I'm going to come back into this so I can recess the piece a bit, and again create some different depths, because you don't want that on the shelf look. Here I'm actually going to raise this up, I think probably just an inch, give it a little bit of variation in the sizes then, because obviously that's quite a flat ledge there. So we're going to do that bit next. So I've started excavating the cave there. It's hard to see with these colours, and it creates all different sorts of effects. See, still looks a little rough in there, but what I'm thinking, like I did with over here with the hot air gun, where it kind of melted and gave it a natural look, thinking I'm going to do the same in this cave, just a little bit around the top and stuff like that, just to get those sort of like stalactite type of structures that you get, and we'll see how it goes. At the end of the day, it's going to be kind of hidden by this building here, so you're not going to be able to see too much, but it'd be quite a nice detail to know that it's there, and also that this whole cave could be then become a labyrinth, like a complex that the elves work in, and it's all tunnels interlinked, and that was just be a nice idea. So started with a loop back in there, that's taking it back quite nicely.
circular road, it's not a bit too much heat, but you can see it does start to dissipate. It works much the same way that the hot wire foam brush does, really, but turbocharged. And then this an open door as well, just for films. As you can see there now, that's hollowed out and got some shapes in there that I don't think I could have made myself naturally, so it's looking pretty cool. We've got some sort of ridge bits here, so I think that's where the glue's gone and set, so I think we should be able to just trim them up and get them out. But yeah, pretty good.
So it's time to start making stairways and stuff. As you can see on this one, I've sort of marked out a little walkway and some steps going down, and I want to stagger it sort of coming down to the mountain, so it leads down to this sort of flat area here, which I'm going to have some trees and stuff, as well as a piece of animation and the control tower, and again I'll have further steps coming down and stuff. But we're going to start off with this one and use our hot wire foam to do that. So here's where I'm going to have the Claus cottage, but I want like 2 rows of steps this time, just something a bit different really. So it's going to come, well, maybe in 3 rows of steps, some steps leading up to the house down there, a deeper set of steps then, and then some steps towards the front here, and that's really give it a staggered depth. So we're going to try and do that now. We use the longer one for this one. There. 3 steps in. So that's the first phase of it, so coming down, obviously these are wider because we're not going to have it the whole width, we're going to come down here and take half that width away. I'm going to do that part next. So you can see now we have our footpath there, back up to the Claus cottage. There's 3 tier steps that I mentioned, and also for the centre chalet, got a nice little step series going on there too. I might add some more steps and stuff into it, and then once it sort of takes shape, think about possibly a tunnel sort of entrance round about here, just so like you can say about how people can get up to the mountain now, to try and add a little bit of realism to it. But so now I think it's time to start using this one. It's very thin wire there, as you can see, and try and actually make some shapes. I'm not sure if it's just this particular brand that you can't change the shape of this. I imagine this part's going to get very hot, but I've seen somewhere there, I think maybe a stiffer wire that they can shape, but this doesn't look like it's going to allow that to happen. But we're going to give it a try, and what we can't do with that, we'll switch back to using the wand type of blade to make some shapes. We've already done some of that here as well. Hard to see with these black and white polystyrene there. That's a bit better there. But you started contouring it already, but I think this one will make it a bit easier to do some sweeping sculpts, especially for Mount Crumpet over there. Pardon the camera angle, but it was easy to do it this way when I was taking chunks out of it. That's pretty much what I did, just using the wide wire foam colour. I sort of just went in and make some sort of deep etches into that. I think that would be great for when the colour holds into there, and it gives a different contrast. In fact, there are some deeper lines. Should really bring it out. I was pretty brutal with how I did it. So just really went at it and thought that it'll all come out right in the end. But speaking of brutal, my missus on the way back, and I've got all this mess to clear up before she gets in, so I'm going to do that now. Okay, so we're finally at the stage of being able to paint now. All the little carvings are done, stuff like that. I've got 5 colours here, and probably going to mix a few of them up along the way to get some, like, plenty of different shades. Got a basic black there, and a cheap brown. Apparently this is really washy, this brown. It shows through like streaks, and that's kind of going to be ideal for what we need it for. I don't want anything that's going to be too solid a colour, and the fact that it's going to be blending over the black is kind of perfect. The grey there, obviously could have mixed the white and the black together to make that happen, but I've got a grey one because it's going to be quite a prominent colour. This one here, and it's always like that sort of like ochre effect that you get on some of the mountain faces when you see with the lighter brown. So I thought I'd use some of this, and it just a very little bit, just to see how that works out. And of course just a basic white paint. Well, it's just quite, well, it says essentials, it wasn't the cheapest ones, but it's acrylic from Royal Langnickel, but I think it's supposed to be quite a bright white, a titanium white, which would be ideal for what we need. So we're going to start off by doing a bit of a black wash first. I've put a little bit of water into my paint kettle to help make this wash. And there's going to be quite a bit of paint. It might be a little bit too much, but okay. That looks about right. Okay, time to get cracking. So here we've got our coat of black wash onto our mountain now, and onto the board as well. Still undecided on exactly what I'm going to be putting down now, thanks to the Anycubic FDM printer giving up the ghost today. Annoying because it's a new printer, it shouldn't have done that. Still, try and get that fixed out. Yeah, so I haven't gone with the black on the tops of these mountains, a little bit on this one because I just want to gradually fade it in and that, but I'm thinking of with the snow coming through, I'm going to put this bit of grey and then more white on top, because I may put a snow blanket on the top of here, and that just to really accentuate the colours. Although I did paint that one fully, but of course that will also have to match and that with the others as it's the same height. It's getting pretty late now. It's about 10:30 at night. It's probably going to be out for day 2, and we shall do some more tomorrow.